Praise the Lord and good evening. My name is Rosalia. We want to welcome you to the Bible launch today, being day 20 of Daniel Fast 2026. Throughout this fast, we have been looking at consistency, and on day 20, we want to look at a life that points others to God. And so, two scriptures that we are looking at: Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 to 16, and then we'll look at Daniel chapter 6, verses 26 to 27. Matthew says, verse 5 to 14 says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." And then going to Daniel chapter 6, verses 26 to 27, we had read it some time before, but this is what it says: "I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and have reverence for the God of Daniel. For he is a living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs miracles, signs, and wonders. In the heavens and on earth, he has rescued Daniel from the power of lions." I'm looking at those two scriptures, and just as we look at the topic of the day, pointing others to Christ, or rather, our life should be able to point others to Christ. And this is a duty you have been given, me and you, that we be able to shine our light, that others may see Christ through us. It may seem hard or it may seem easy, depending on how someone is looking at it. This has been given, we should be able to live our faith openly, to reflect God's glory throughout every good work we are doing. Even the littlest tasks that we are doing, those mundane tasks that we think, these are not important, someone is looking. Someone will see Christ through you, through your smile, through how you talk, through how you act, through how you encourage one another. Someone will see that and be encouraged to know who your God is. When we look at the story of Daniel, King Darius really loved Darius. King Darius really loved Daniel, and he even appointed him to be among the administrators, and he was making a very prominent person in his kingdom by then. But why did King Darius do all this? Because he saw Daniel is a man of excellence, a man of good character. He portrayed who God is, and not even for a second did he forget to show that. Even when a decree was issued that no one should worship any other person except King Darius for only 30 days, most of us would say, it's just 30 days, I can hold in. But Daniel says, no, it is my duty to have a relationship with my Father every day. And so I'm choosing to have a relationship with my Father even today after the decree has been issued. And he goes to have that relationship with the Father, and then he was praying, that's what I mean. And that costs his life. What we are told later, when we read the story in chapter 6, we see that Daniel was found praying, and the other administrators go to King Darius and say, you issued a decree no one should pray to any other person, but Daniel has been praying to his God, because he was a man who loved his God and honored his relationship with God. And it didn't matter that these people used this to pin Daniel down to be put in the lion's den, or to get Daniel off their way. What mattered more is that Daniel remained honorable to his God. And through his obedience, the king says that he shone the light so brightly that even after he's put in the lion's den, and the next morning the king comes and he finds Daniel is alive and picks him up, he issues a decree immediately. And then he gives a reason why he's issuing a decree that everyone should respect, and every part of his kingdom, everyone must fear and revere the God of Daniel. Why? And then gives his reasons, which there is a day I was I've actually made 2 videos out of it, and I was giving all I was breaking it all down. But the reason why Darius says this, he goes on to explain from what he had seen Daniel do. He's a living God who endures forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs miracles and saves, and signs and wonders in heaven and earth. And then he has also rescued Daniel from the power of lies. He gave all these reasons without even consulting Daniel. Why? Because Daniel's light shone so brightly that other people could see, could actually have desire to have that kind of relationship. Before, we are not told that King Darius ended up having a relationship with God. We are not told so, but out of how Daniel lived, we see this man ordering everyone to fear the God of Daniel. And he gives reasons. That is a man who lifted his torch up the hill, not under the hill. And that's when Matthew continues, like Jesus now is speaking and he's illuminating all this again, and he's saying, you can't be the light and then hide it under the bowl. It has to be on top of a building. It has to be on top. A town cannot be hidden when it's on top of a hill. So therefore, even your light, when it's on top of a bowl, or rather on a lamp, it will not be hidden. Rather, it will shine light on in the room. Perhaps now we have like electricity. Okay, thanks to God. But when we had like candles or lamps, you don't go about putting your lamp under the seat, no, or under the table, under the bed, no. You put it on a table, on a stand where the light can emulate to the room. And so we as believers today, it is our duty, just as how Daniel lived his life, we are to shine the light of God to the community where we have been placed. Let us shine the light to others, that they too may see the good deeds that we are doing and also glorify God. King Darius saw the good deeds that Daniel was doing, and he ended up by glorifying God and giving people reason why this God must be worshipped. And so we have been given an opportunity. Let us shine the light in our community, in our homes, in our areas of work, everywhere that we live. Can we shine the light of Christ? Can we be able to live out what Christ has put within us? Being bold enough to look at the King, because he has given us the opportunity to hold the lamp high. And so we are being encouraged. Let not our faith waver even for a single. Let it, as Daniel's faith led him to be delivered from the lion's den, same to us. Let our faith lead us from also us being delivered from many lion dens that we might be finding ourselves in. And so our public faith is our responsibility. And we cannot say, oh, I worship God in silence. Like, my relationship between me and God is just me and God. Like, okay, yes, it's between me and God, but what Matthew 5 is saying, that it is commanding all people in faith. You cannot hide your light. It has to shine to others. Then glorify God. That light has to glorify God. It has to praise who God is. The same way, King Darius proclaimed the greatness of God and follow how the miraculous rescue happened. Then the divine power. Emphasize on God's power in your life. I know majority of guys go say, praise the Lord and praise the Lord, all that. But can our lives testify when we are just silent? Just like what Daniel did. He was silent, but his life testified. He didn't need to speak a thing. His life, like God spoke through him with no words. Just his character, his excellency, his consistency caused more other people to know who God is. Caused King Darius to know who God is. And then King Darius issued a decree. And I know many people found a reason to exist at that time and to see that indeed they have met the God of Daniel. And we might ask ourselves, like, very quickly, why didn't Daniel go back with the first people? Because people were returning to the time of Ezra, and they're going back to Jerusalem. But Daniel didn't go. He had to remain because, yes, he had a higher authority in the place, but God had a reason for him more to be there. That King Darius may know the God of Daniel, and all the other people may know the God of Daniel. So are you shining the light today? That's a question you'll ask yourself, your soul, and your heart. Shalom, and have a beautiful evening. Bye-bye.